Did you know that you can find God's favor through the storms, through the problems, in all situations in life? It'll help your business, it'll help you in life, it'll help your family, and most of all, it will help you elevate. Welcome to the elevator. What matters through the problems, through the storms. So what matters in your life? What's the most important thing? Is it your family? Is that what wakes you up at night? Is that what's going to continue to help you to strive and to keep fighting for it? A lot of people it is. Is it your bills? Is it your house? Is it material things? Is it your faith, what you believe in? Is that the main priority that's going to keep you ticking and keep you going and keeps fighting for you? Is it the need of the world, of the situations of seeing people in need and wanting to help them, wanting to extend your hand? And that's very important, you know? So in life, you have to realize what's your priority. What's the reason why you do things? What's the reason why you believe? Because doubt is a belief as well. Why do you doubt and why do you believe for good things? Why do you believe for bad things? Why are you positive? Why are you negative? You know, sometimes circumstances in life cause you to believe a certain way. Sometimes family causes you to believe a certain way. But regardless of what's going on, regardless of what problems it is, we have to prioritize. So you know what? Sometimes we'll go up and down. The only one that's always consistent is Jesus. But what's most important to us, that we have to be more on the faith side, more on the believing side than on the negative side. Yeah, we go through storms, we go through situations, we go through ups and downs, we go through different feelings, we have emotions. God created us that way. But through all that, what is your main belief? Through all that, who are you believing in? This will always say this: whose you are determines who you are. Whose you are determines who you are. What type of person you are. Are you part of the problem or are you part of the solution? How do you see a cup? Halfway full or halfway empty? It's very important. And this is the things that we have to take with us in business. We have to take this with us in life. We have to take this with us to be able to elevate and take us to another level, regardless, up or down. It'll take you to another level. It'll bring you down or it'll bring you up. I always focus on bringing myself up and keeping myself up. Yes, I have to go down to humble myself, to bring myself before the Lord. But most importantly, we have to continue to go forward, continue to go up, and believe. So I'm going to share a few things. I'm going to continue sharing a few things to what matters. Listen to what I have here. Let's get the baggage of the previous year to make room for a better future. So take all the baggage from before, all the baggage from last year, all the situations, all the failures, all the life lessons, and let's take them to the new year believing for good things, believing for greatness. Let's leave everything behind. Let's understand that there's a favor that God gives you in the midst of situations. Through the problems, God will give you the grace. And that's what we have to understand. He'll give you the ability to be able to go forward in different situations. He'll give you the ability, you know, through the problems. And let's be honest, sometimes, like I was saying, we put ourselves in situations where it's not too far from God's favor to be able to come and help us out of it. We put ourselves in situations where we're the ones that caused it in the first place. We're the ones that caused the problem. We're the ones that sowed the seed. There's a teaching in the Bible, and it's a life lesson. It says you reap what you sow. That's a scripture. So whatever you sow, you shall reap. It's interesting. Me, you know, my grandfather taught me how to plant seeds and have gardens. I've had gardens my whole life. In the previous video, you see how my first business was actually lean business, and it was planting fruits to be able to grow them and create these popsicles and these this little they're called limbens, cups of fruit and liquid. I will create limbens, and there's these cups of fruits and with water mixed in, and we would freeze them and sell them. That was my first business, but I understood what it meant to sow and to reap. I understood what it meant to give, to receive. And it's important to understand this because throughout the Bible, you start to see that you sow a seed, reap a harvest. But always remember this. The harvest is always greater than the seed. Let me say that one more time. The harvest is always greater than the seed or what you sow. That could be good or bad. Listen to this. And I'm always positive and I'm always want to be elevating. But I also want to talk and speak of understanding of, I also want to be real. I also have to be real and tell you that the same thing, if you're going to speak or sow bad things, then the harvest is also going to be much more than what you sow. So why do I say that? Because when you get into business and when you get into life situations, but let's apply it to business, for example. How much time are you putting into it? What good seeds are you sowing into it? Are you taking care of your employees? Are you taking care of your people? Are you taking care of your schedule? Is it in the forefront of your mind? Are you lifting it up to God and putting God first and knowing that He's the seed and knowing that He's the one that's going to cause the harvest to come? What decisions are you making? So there's a story in the Bible. So this teaching of sowing and reaping is all over the Bible. So there's a story in the Bible of Joseph. Is one of my favorite stories. In Genesis, I believe, 27, that's where his story starts. But you start to see that he's a man of faith. He's a man that has dreams. He has aspirations. He has so many different things that he wants to do. But he's also a faithful man. He's a faithful man to his dad, to his brothers, to his mom. And you start to see where his life is starting to elevate. It's starting to go a certain direction in a positive way. But because of, I would say, his ambition and maybe his dreams, or maybe saying it to so many different things, that's another lesson. Be careful who you speak to as well, because they can actually bring positivity or negativity. They can actually come and damage what you're trying to do. So he was just saying and sharing his dreams. He was just saying, seeing the Bible. He was sharing it with his brothers what dreams that God told him, that he's going to be elevated, that he's going to have a harvest and all these beautiful things. But even though it was beautiful to him, to the wrong ears, it was not beautiful. It was negative. They were saying, but maybe they were saying, well, who did this guy think he is? Oh, he thinks he's going to be higher than us. And all of a sudden, pride starts to come in. So be careful who you speak to about your plans and things. That maybe keep them to yourself at first, or people that your circle around you, people that you trust, people that you can speak to, people that believe in you. Maybe share things with them so that they can be together and in unity with you to be able to help you elevate and help you with the vision. So it's very important to understand that who you speak to and who you share things with is important as well in business. So with Joseph, you see a story where he tells his brothers, what God was going to do. But even though that was a favor of God in his life, and even though he had a dream, and even though he wanted to go to a certain level, his brothers plotted and said, you know what? I'm getting tired of this Joseph. And they plotted to kill him. Thank God that they did it. They threw him to a cave. They threw him into a pit. And they sold him to the Egyptians. In the midst of the problem, in the midst of the situations, God's favor is going to help you. God's favor will see you through it. So he went from the pit. He got sold to the Egyptians for silver. Sounds like Jesus, right? Being sold for silver. And all of a sudden, when he got sold, the favor of God was with him. And if you follow Joseph's story, you start to see that he went to Egypt and he got sold to Potiphar. But he got sold completely naked. He got sold to him, having nothing, zero. But yet God says he was a successful man. God says he was a successful man, regardless of what he was going through, regardless if he had anything. God saw him as successful. Why? Because the favor of God followed him through the storm, through the problems. And all of a sudden, he went into Egypt, a land where he wasn't familiar, a land that he didn't know the language. See this, completely different place. It's like saying, you know, let me go to India or let me go to China. And now you're there as a slave. You don't know what to do. You don't know any other language. But yet God's favor was with him. From there, he started to excel. He started to elevate. Why? Because God's favor was around him, regardless of what he was going through. Through the problem, God's favor was with him. And he went from outside to inside. From a slave from the outside, from the fields, all of a sudden he was in the inside in the palace, helping it out. But what happened? Potiphar's wife takes a look at it. You see, God's favor is attractive, but sometimes people may see it as a flesh thing, or they may see it as the wrong way. So she was just wanting him so bad, yet he was always quiet, always faithful, but had God's favor. She tried to sleep with him. And he was like, no, I would never do that to my master. I never do that to the people I believe in. I never betray. I'm a man of value. I'm a man of moral. I was taught by God. I was taught by my parents. Remember, it was Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Joseph. Jacob was his father. He had, generations of belief. He came from Abraham. That was his great grandfather. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. So think about that. Think about what he believed in. Think about God's favor in his life. Think about... I couldn't continue the video. I apologize, but listen up. Regardless of what situation we're going through, this is exactly what we're talking about. We're going to continue. So get ready for part 2 in the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell and get notified. Get ready for part 2 in the video. Like, comment, subscribe.